Well, we have finally got here. Number 205 in the Indicator collection is The Castle of Fu Manchu. The second movie directed by Jess Franco, and the last in the Fu Manchu series, is one that's often derived. I've been warned several times myself about getting to this one, what it was going to deliver, and I found a movie that is a little bit more Franco-ish in the way it is shot, directed and brought to us, and a little bit more of a restrained Franco at that as well. Now, the movie has some big hills to overcome before we even get started. It has some horribly blue tinted footage of A Night to Remember, which is just shocking but kind of fun in the same way. It has repurposed footage from an earlier Fu Manchu movie that is unbelievably repurposed, as in it's something that was a prominent scene in the last one and is pretty much just redubbed and reused here. Once you kind of get by that, you understand that Fu Manchu this time around has decided to hold the world at ransom with the threat of freezing the world's oceans. It's a really big megalomaniacal bad guy plan. You know, not just the usual like we'll mass genocide or anything. No, we're going to freeze the world's oceans. We're going to block out the sun. It's incredibly silly, and I kind of like that we get that. Now, I did mention that we get some really good kind of Franco moments in this. There is lots of neon lighting that has no reason as to where it's coming from. It doesn't matter, we're getting it. Thank goodness for that. It offers a kind of early giallo Italian feel to it by having these wacky colours in the background, but it makes a lot of interesting scenes because of it. You have Christopher Lee, who seems somewhat comfortable in this role. You have two people who are transferred in coffins, kind of a kind of nod, throwback to Lee's Dracula performances as they are awaking in a very horrific scene from these coffins covered in these crystals that make them look dead, almost like the dead coming to life. It is wonderfully shot, really spooky and atmospheric, and I really kind of liked that it leaned into those kind of things a little bit more than we had been used to in some of the other movies. And it has a sense of playfulness about it. Now, special shout out to Richard Green, who gets to do a little bit more here as our stoic Nayland Smith, along with Dr. Petrie, as they investigate the crimes of Fu Manchu, working for Interpol, looking to take down this madman again, who's globetrotting and taking over various places and taking over a castle this time, which is why we've got the title, which makes a hell of a lot more sense than The Blood of Fu Manchu. We get some wonderful side characters. We get the wonderful Rosalba Neri, who is very, very striking in this movie. Just has a kind of iconic look about her when she's on screen wearing these pinstripe suits and mowing down people with machine guns. It's a wonderful performance. Every time she was on screen, I kind of perked up and was really interested in what she was going to bring. It had a kind of visual stylistic nature about it that was really interesting to watch. But the movie's kind of hokey, and it does have some low budget fallbacks that aren't as great. You can tell that they're running out of money. You can tell from the start of this movie they're just padding things out a little bit, and whereas it does have good points and I think it is fun, I think it just falls flat, and you feel like this is a series that's running out of steam, which is really unfortunate, because much like Bond that moved from the 60s into the 70s in a really nice transition, you don't get that here. You've got a feeling that it's moving forward and it is changing its aesthetic a little bit. And it would have been really nice to see how this evolved through the decades, much like Bond, if it had survived that long, which it didn't. But it would be nice to see it being reinvented, reinvigorated, and just changed and twisted. I think that would have been wonderful to see. But unfortunately, we don't get that here. And The Castle of Fu Manchu was a movie that I actually preferred to the previous entry, The Blood. I found this one to be a lot more fun. A lot more interesting action set pieces. I liked the kind of big plan behind it all. I liked Richard Green getting more time as Nayland Smith. Lots of dry ice and the neon lights and the funny angles and the little twists and turns that don't really make much sense, but aesthetically add a hell of a lot to the movie. Just make it visually more interesting for me. Christopher Lee does fine. We get Tai Chen back again, who does wonderfully well. Some of the side actors are just really terrific. But this is the end of it. The Fu Manchu box set has been wonderful. It's been great visiting all these movies. I wish it went on for longer, even though that turn from movie 4 was a little bit shocking, but I would have liked to have seen it do more of those kind of turns throughout history, but it doesn't happen. Anyway, I'd love to know your thoughts on The Castle of Fu Manchu. Let me know in the comment box below, and I'll see you next time on Man v Film.